All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about Hut 8 Mining. Stock ticker HUT. Hut put out their monthly operational report for the month of December yesterday. I think a lot of people were surprised, if not shocked. We talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners all the time on this channel. If you're new to the channel or you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could please smash the like button. Lastly, if you want to become a member of the channel, you can hit the join button on the YouTube page. If you don't see a join button, there's a link below. So members get some members-only content. We do a once-a-week members-only live stream, and on that live stream, the members get to pick a company for me to do a deep dive video on for members only. So we have a lot of fun there. We hope you'll join us. Let's talk about Hut 8. They put out their operational report yesterday. Their trading wasn't too bad, but I do think a lot of people were very, very surprised by this. Some people might have even been shocked by this. So Hut 8 closed trading yesterday on the NASDAQ at 91.48 cents. So that was up about 1% on the day. So a fairly level day. That leaves them with a market cap of $183 million. So, of course, I always like to put in perspective how far down these Bitcoin miners have been beaten up. So, currently at $183 million. If we look at a chart of their market cap over the last few years, you'll see that just about 14 months ago, this was over a $2 billion company. So, this is down in market cap over 90%. The stock is priced reflecting that. Let's get to the operational update for the month of December. Okay, Hut 8 mining production and operations update for December 2022. So the very first line, 161 Bitcoin mined in December. So I will start out by saying that is their worst month of the year from a production standpoint. So I think right off the bat, that was some red flags for people, and a lot of people are very nervous about that. I am going to dig into exactly why I think that number is where it's at and what it means. 3,568 Bitcoin mined through 2022. So that is for the year of 2022. They mined about 3,500 Bitcoin. So that put them in about 6th or 7th place overall out of all the publicly traded Bitcoin miners. So they stayed in a very similar place all year long. They did have a productive year of Bitcoin mining. There were some things that affected their mining numbers in the fourth quarter, and I'm going to go through those things specifically because there were some major things in the fourth quarter of 2022 that Hut 8 is dealing with, some of which are still ongoing. Okay, so 100% of their Bitcoin mined is added to the balance sheet, increasing reserves by 65% in the year 2022. They now have 9,086 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. This represents 100% hodl for the last 2 years, essentially. And one of the important things to note is their entire stack is unencumbered. This is not securing any debt at all. Just the value of their Bitcoin is fairly similar to the market cap, the entire market cap of this company. So for me, that is one of the reasons that, in my opinion, I think this company is oversold. We'll take a look at the charts later and talk about that more. Okay, let's talk about production highlights for December 2022. 161 Bitcoin were generated, resulting in an average production rate of approximately 5.2 Bitcoin mined per day. So this was the lowest month for them all year long. But underneath that, they say unusually high energy prices led Hut 8 to curtail production and sell power back to the provider. So several things. That is not the only reason their production is down. So I think there's probably 3 big reasons we need to talk about. One of which is that they clearly have self-curtailed here and sold energy back to the provider. So one thing I would like to know is what is their revenue or what is their credit on energy for selling that back and curtailing instead of mining Bitcoin. Installed ASIC hash rate capacity at Hut 8's Alberta facilities was 2.5 exahash at the end of the month. So right now, their 2 facilities in Alberta are the only ones running. We'll talk more about that later. Hut 8 produced 64.4 Bitcoin per exahash in December. So that is their monthly efficiency calculation. I compare all the Bitcoin miners on their monthly efficiency. This is a very low number. There were several companies that struggled in December. A lot of this was due to some severe weather. What were they compensated for giving power back to their provider? And does that help mitigate this efficiency level? Hut 8 continues to explore alternatives to mitigate the impact of the dispute with the third-party energy supplier to the site, including through organic and inorganic growth opportunities. So their North Bay facility is shut down. Right now, that's about 0.83 exahash. That is why they are at 2.5 exahash. In total capacity, they're at more like 3.3 exahash. At this point, they're ceased indefinitely until they can come to some agreement with their energy provider. So I want to go to my list. This is my list of what I call Hut 8 2022 summary of important items. This is kind of 20 2022 in a nutshell. And I think we're going to see a common theme, and I'm going to tell you what that is when we're done. So number one, TerraGo acquisition in February of 2022. That is a high-performance data center. That's an additional revenue stream. It's an entire another segment of business that is not pinned to the price of Bitcoin, and it is not related to their Bitcoin mining company. So additional streams of revenue, we always like to see that. So I think Hut 8, it looks like, was preparing early on in the year. This acquisition was closed in February of 2022. So as you can see, they were planning this coming into the year 2022. Number two, there were no new purchase orders for ASIC Bitcoin miners in the entire year of 2022. Ethereum mining for the first 9 months. So one of the reasons their fourth quarter numbers are down is the first 9 months of the year, they were mining Ethereum. And obviously Ethereum has moved to proof of stake. So there is no more mining in Ethereum. Now they were always getting paid in Bitcoin, but they were mining Ethereum. So they have 10,000 high performance NVIDIA GPUs. However, those move nicely over to the high performance data center. So those machines paid for themselves, and now they can continue to work going forward. Number four, as we talk about, they indefinitely ceased mining operations in November 22 at North Bay, which is about 0.83 exahash, and that is a dispute with the energy provider Validus. They've powered down their machine. Validus is not providing them energy until they come to an agreement. So this is yet another thing that has reduced the amount of Bitcoin that they mine on a monthly basis. Number five, they self-curtailed their Bitcoin mining in December and sold energy back to the provider. So you can see this entire list is building a theme. They hodled 100% of their 2022 Bitcoin mined, and they now have 9,086 Bitcoin on their balance sheet at December 31st, 2022. Okay, so if you take a second look at all the things we just talked about, you'll see every single one of those is consistent with crypto winter. So Hut 8 very early on, I think late in 2021, decided that they were short-term bearish on Bitcoin. Now they have reiterated, you'll see I have short-term equals bearish, long-term equals bullish. They have continued to reiterate that they are a Bitcoin mining company first. They're hodling 100% of their Bitcoin, which means clearly they believe that the price of Bitcoin is going to go up in the future. So long-term, they are very bullish. Short-term, in the year 2022, it looks like they prepped ahead of time and made a conscious decision. They were going to stay small and try to ride out what they thought was a coming crypto winter, and that is exactly how this has played out. So if you look again at these bullet points, you'll see each one of these is really consistent with the fact that they believe they're in a crypto winter, and more importantly, based on what they did in December, I would say they think that it is not over yet. So they still remain very bullish on Bitcoin. Sue reiterated that in our interview on the channel just this month. So and the fact that they're 100% hodling is pure evidence that they are bullish on Bitcoin in the long term. The question is, when are they going to turn bullish in the short term? Because in 2022, they took a very defensive stance. At what point in 2023 is Hut 8 potentially going to pivot and start expanding again? Because they have continued to say they are looking opportunistically for organic or inorganic growth. The price of the stock has been beaten up pretty good based on all of these things that we just talked about. So I want to look at a few numbers and a few charts and talk about that. Okay, so here's Hut 8's Bitcoin production by month for the year 2022, and I've included December of 2021 for comparative purposes. So year over year, you'll see last December they had mined 276 Bitcoin. This December, 161. Like I said, that is the lowest number that they have had in the last year. It's lower than their year-over-year comparison for the month of December 2021. So on the face of it, that is a little bit surprising of a number. And you can see they are trending in a downward direction. They peaked at 375 Bitcoin in August. So August was the last month where they had all of their operations up and running and the 10,000 GPUs mining Ethereum and getting paid in Bitcoin. So that was their all-time record at 375. You can see September Ethereum mining went away. In October, they did grow a little bit. And then in November, they took a hit because they closed down their facility in North Bay. And that obviously is due to the dispute with their power provider. So December was all of those things. In December, there was no Ethereum mining. There was no North Bay. And they self-curtailed. So that is what led to this 161. So I don't love this number, but I also want to put it in perspective because I think this was fairly strategic on their part. It would appear that they still remain bearish in the very short term. They are not convinced we're out of the crypto winter yet, so they continue to scale back. At 16 or 17,000 US dollars, I don't think their profit margin is very big based on the energy prices that they're paying. So these smaller numbers do not hurt them in the short term. And what they're more focused on is just maintaining that hodl balance of Bitcoin and growing their other other revenue streams. So I believe that's their strategy as a company. I think that's what's going on here. Just to put it in perspective, here's their quarterly output. So you'll see for the year 2022, the first 3 quarters were almost exactly the same. It's this fourth quarter that everything hit them at once and their production has reduced dramatically. So I'll be interested to see how they proceed in January of 2023 and how the winter months compare. So we'll just have to wait and see what Q1 of 2023 presents. This is the 18 Bitcoin miners that I have been following on the channel. This is their performance for the year 2022. You're going to see Hut 8 is right here at minus 89%. Now, obviously minus 89% is awful. It seems to be right in there at the average of what all these Bitcoin miners did, if not a little better. It seems like 88% to 92% accounted for the majority of the Bitcoin miners. So I'm just going to update from my perspective. I had Hut 8 in my list. I put out a list of my personal top 4 and really top 8 Bitcoin miners as of the end of the year going into 2023. So I just put this list out. Again, this is not financial advice. This is absolutely 100% my opinion. But I had Hut listed as number 3. So I am still comfortable with that ranking for them right now. So I would not change my mind on any of these right now. But obviously, we do have some big question marks on Hut 8. And I'm hopeful that in the first quarter of 2023, we start to get some answers and see where they're going from here. In the meantime, if we take a look at their chart, this is their chart for basically the last quarter of the year. By this low here on November 21st, all of the bad news was already priced in at that point. Bitcoin had already bottomed out and was on the rebound. So Hut 8 is currently down 15% from that low. Hut 8 for me right now, I think is underpriced. I think there's some opportunity here. The next big pieces of information that we're going to get from them, I think are going to be more positive catalysts. So I do think that if Bitcoin can have a little bit of recovery in the first half of 2023, and I'm looking at somewhere between Bitcoin 21,000 and 25,000, and Hut 8 can just provide a little bit of clarity on a few of these items, if they can come to an understanding with Validus, whatever they decide, you're looking at a potential upside of almost 170% if they could just get back to where they were in October of 2022. And remember, the stock was already down close to 90% as of October. So all I'm looking to do, if we look on the yearly chart, you'll see last November they peaked up here at around $16.50. All I'm looking to do is to get back to this red line way down here. So that still leaves them down the bulk of what they were down over the course of the last year plus. So again, these are my price targets. They are off of their 52-week low, so there is always risk to the downside. And again, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you buy this or any of these very volatile Bitcoin mining stocks. So those are my thoughts on Hut 8 and their monthly operational update and the year of 2022, and we will see what is to come for the year of 2023. So thanks again for watching, and we will see you in the next video.